Hello, everybody. How are you doing this lovely Sunday morning or evening, depending on where you're at? I hope you're doing great, and I'm so excited to take a look at the next 7 days with you. You picked a really cool topic. This one's been on the Sunday collective sort of polls for a while, which is seeing beyond what's in front of you, working with the energy of the Oracle or the High Priestess. So I'm going to put down my furry assistant here because he wants to get back to napping. Good boy. And let's talk a little bit. So first of all, welcome. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a weekend collective. And the way that the weekend collective works is it's really a chance for all of us to come together. That's why I put on this everyone is welcome. And we'll begin with basically this nice little format here that I have in front of me. We'll be looking at a channeled messages. I've actually already done all the channel messages. They're here in front of me. And then we'll talk about the going from the channel messages into the 7-day forecast, elemental forecasts, earth, air, water, fire, blessings and blocks, a viewer poll. And then we get into the special topic today, again, which you guys chose, which is the Oracle, seeing beyond what's in front of you. I think it was a really, really great topic, and it's going to help us connect with going beyond what's a perceived block, going beyond what sometimes even our own intuition tells us is possible. It's really going to allow you to break through. And then, of course, we'll go into a meditation sound bath and a final card or a final question at the very end. Okay, so that's the overall forecast or the overall sort of format today. Just a quick note at the very beginning, if you'd ever like to keep in touch with me, here's all the links to my social media platforms. Pretty much everywhere, it's just my name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, except Twitter. And if you'd like to show some support in a very easy way, just hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up or the like button. You can only subscribe once in a lifetime. You can only like a video once, but if you do either of those things, it helps. Also, if you want to show a little bit of extra support, you can use SuperStickers, SuperChats, and become a member. And I put a little arrow to show the symbol basically in chat, so you can find that. And then finally, for more information, including my schedule, you can go to my website, and I actually pinned that link for you in the chat. Or I think I did. Let me double check, but I think I did. Yes, I did. So if you need that, it's there for your reference. Okay, so that is everything. Let's get started. Let's talk about what's going on today. Actually, two quick notes here. First of all, we have two moderators today. Both Maria and Dakota are here to answer any high-level questions that you might have, point you in the right direction, and keep this a nice and safe space. Also, if you do happen to give back with super stickers or super chats, I'll say thank you at the very end. I usually don't like to interrupt the flow while I'm talking, just because it takes a while to get into that sort of intuitive area. So thank you for understanding. All right, so let's talk a little bit about all these channeled messages that I have in front of me. Again, these come through when I am tuning in and really kind of thinking about what it is that today's reading is going to be about. It comes through dreams, meditation, and a lot of times just as I'm kind of getting ready and doing the research. So I'm going to pull the iPad over here, and the main totem today that you got, as you can see here, is the snail. So let me just pull a picture of the snail. Then there's some other things that we'll talk about in just a moment. We see garden snails all the time. I was surprised to learn as I was doing some of the research that they're very long-living creatures. Sometimes they can live up to 10 years, believe it or not. And for something that we just see in the garden, that's kind of amazing. They're not necessarily an insect. They're, what did I put here? Gastropod. So it's just, that's a little misconception, but we'll talk about that in a moment because it is important to kind of understand the foot and mouth energy, or actually it was like foot and stomach energy, because that's going to be a part of your month ahead. So let's begin with the beginning. We're going to look at what a snail does for you, and basically it's reminding you to slow down and be fully present, really to enjoy this moment in time. And the slowing down may be necessary for any number of reasons. For some of you, you may feel like there's a looming deadline. There's a lot of expectations for, performance. A lot of times when we're at school and people are putting all of that pressure on us, or at work. This is basically showing you that sometimes when you rush, things don't actually improve. Case in point, I was doing something the other day where I'm going to have to repair this one camera because I moved too quickly and it fell. So I'll be taking that back to the repair shop. It's covered with insurance, but slowing down is important. The image that came through was the snail and the 9 of Pentacles card, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a moment. But basically, the 9 of Pentacles, you would see a woman in a garden, and it's basically the garden of riches, if you will, figuratively speaking. And the snail in the card indicates that basically, slow and steady wins the race, experience wins the race, and that a lot of times it's just really important for you to soak it all in, because just like a sponge, snails take their time, they eat everything, they absorb everything. So there's a lot of learning potential that comes with that as well. So if we just pull up here the Nine of Pentacles, I'll give you a close-up of the Rider-Waite-Smith version of this card, which it's kind of very effective when you look at it. So let's see here. Here we go. In the corner, it's not going to be super high res here, but you'll see this is the Nine of Pentacles, and at the very corner, there's a little tiny snail. And that little snail by her foot, it's right there, is basically what we're talking about. Everything else in this card shows that you have what it takes to be strong, to be independent, to be self-sufficient. So let's talk a little bit more about what's coming through. All right. Unlike Jack and the Beanstalk, that fairy tale that we heard when we were a kid, or fable, I guess, growth takes time, and when it takes time, it's much more sustainable than if it happens overnight. A lot of times, if we are forced to kind of like deal with rapid success or rapid growth, we don't know what to do with it, right? There's this sort of feeling of like, who am I now? Yesterday I was this is who I am now. Same thing if something's taken away and we're asked to change. So for either those of you that have stepped into the sort of like visibility or all this kind of energy and attention, and you're wondering, what do I do about it? Or for those of you that have maybe lost it and you're trying to regroup and figure out what's the next chapter, you'll be okay. Growth and also recovery, it's a gradual sort of cycle and a gradual sort of thing. Okay? The other thing here is you don't necessarily need any of these things to be in the state of growth. So success, wealth, and recognition, they're all nice to have, right? But you don't need to have all of them all of the time, right? So remember that how you feel and what you're gaining out of any given experience is going to be equally, if not more important than what other people think of you during that experience, right? A couple of quick things that I think of with the Nine of Pentacles: independence and self-sufficiency, the ability to look at long-term goals, overall experience, and the experience being part of the payment or part of the purpose in what you're doing. And then also understanding that experience itself is what kind of saves the day at the end of everything. So we have to kind of find this way of being at peace with the journey and the movement. Here's the cool thing. If needed, you can manage on your own. Because of the fierce independence that is intrinsic to that card, you can do it all yourself. You don't have to, though. Know when or if you need to ask for assistance. If that card ever appears in the reverse position in a spread, usually it indicates stubbornness and wanting to do it all on your own, when it probably could or would be easier to ask for help or lean on someone, or kind of do a little bit more research. So remember that there's that fine line between proving that you can do it and realizing that you don't have to do it, and it might be better and you could actually free yourself up to do other things, right? Okay, let's take a look now at some other things that kind of connect with this. Because of the snail pace, I wanted to talk about time and the relativity, and I'm not going to do any Einstein sort of stuff, but like how time seems to change or speed seems to change based on where you're at. So let's look at something that many of us are familiar with, even if we can't see the entire thing. We've seen the Milky Way. We've seen it either in pictures, or we've seen or sometimes we're lucky enough, if you're in the desert, to kind of see the arm of the Milky Way. Sorry, let me just try to unlock this. For some reason, it's not unlocking. There we go. All right, so if we take a look at the Milky Way, yes, some beautiful pictures of the Milky Way, just to refresh our memories. What's cool about this is our galaxy, the Milky Way, rotates at about 130 miles or 210 kilometers per second. Not per hour, that's per second. And with this, that's kind of like mind-boggling to think of that speed, right? But it looks like it's static from Earth if you happen to kind of just look up at the sky. So the other thing that you can kind of think about is if we just sort of figure out how we're moving too. So Earth rotates on its axis. Earth also rotates around the sun. Our solar system is in one of the arms of the Milky Way, which is rotating as quickly as I just said. the Milky Way, is pushing itself outward towards the end of the universe, which is constantly expanding. The universe is constantly moving. It might be part of many universes out there that are also expanding and moving. So it kind of blows your mind sometimes to think about how much movement is happening. And meanwhile, it feels like we're that little snail, right? So all of that information is contained within that Nine of Pentacles card, which is saying you are rich, you are powerful, you are growing, you are learning, even if you don't see it each and every day, okay? Speed is relative to your perspective, your life experience, and also your position on the planet, and also your position even in a sort of more figurative sort of way in a family, or maybe a position at work or whatever. Wherever you are, it makes a sort of difference of how you perceive time. Many of us have seen this when we get older, where it seems like time speeds up. As a kid, it seems like it's forever. Summers last forever, years last forever. You can't wait to be an adult. And once you're an adult, you just look in the mirror one day and think, how did 10 years fly by, right? So again, that relativity of the speed, okay? You've made much more progress than you realize. Step back, reevaluate, and get some clarity on what's going on, okay? The snail also represents both the Hermit and Fool cards if you kind of smash them together. The Hermit card, because it wears the whole world on its back, basically it has everything that it needs. Actually, I'm sorry, the Fool, because it has the knapsack, it has everything that it needs, but the shell is also protection. So those are two very powerful major arcana cards. Fools are beginnings, basically, 0, fresh, clean slate. Hermit is discovering your power, inner growth, understanding or getting a connection to the divine. All of those things are part of that. All of those things are available to you. It's time to come out of your shell and take a leap of faith. Let's combine the best of the two of these. So once you've understood who you are and what makes you tick, then you can actually take that leap of faith, okay? So snails are also gastropods, a Greek word which combines the two words stomach and foot. And we're going to pay attention to those two areas of your body because that's what it means. Focus on your solar plexus this month. Starting first with the stomach portion. Some of you may have, you might be feeling some issues with digestion. You might have something in the pit of your stomach where you're just kind of like nervous. A lot of times that energetic response in our body is due to things like power dynamics. If there is something going on with nutrition or digestion, you need to talk to a doctor and get the necessary assistance for that, as always, of course, right? So, but the thing with this is a lot of times the power dynamics start with people that we love and know, brother, sister, mother, father, the really close connections, those sort of like umbilical cords that we have in our life. So this is a chance for you to release some of those if there's anything there where you're feeling like pulled back, or there's someone who's trying to make you second guess your power, things like that. This is your chance to really step out on your own. You also want to work on the root chakra because of the fact that we're looking both at stomach and feet, paying, of course, special attention to the feet. Balance can be both symbolic and literal. So if you're having any issues with your ankles, with your foot, obviously go to a podiatrist or to an orthopedic specialist. But otherwise, it could be just like, am I feeling balance? Like the 2 of Pentacles, work-life balance. 6 of Pentacles, how much do I have to give to any given opportunity or sort of thing in my life? You're basically finding that proper or necessary balance. Going to be really important. Trust your gut. Trust your gut instinct. If you feel like you need to get more information, ask those questions and get whatever it is that you need to get that's important for you. Avoid putting your foot in your mouth. So this wasn't like foot mouth, it was like foot stomach, but it's the same sort of thing. This could be a 10 of Swords instance or a Queen of or King of Swords reversed, when you need to sort of like understand what the other person is feeling or thinking before you say something. So you really want to think before speaking and get the full picture, get all the facts and information. All right. One other thing that I want to show you here on my iPad, and then I'll put it to the side, is a cloud nebula, a star nebula too. This is basically a baby star factory. So there's a lot of different examples of what these look like in astronomy, but basically they're these beautiful clouds that light up based on the stars within them. But what are they really? It's a dusty mess. That's what a nebula really at least begins as. There's a lot of dust, there's a lot of particles, and what happens is gravity pulls them together, and enough of them get pulled together that some of them create stars and some of them create planets. That's like the Cliff's Notes version of it. The stars end up being like the sweeper or the vacuum that basically brings order. So let's kind of break this down on what makes sense for you. Like a nebula, what looks like dust and chaos may end up being something beautiful, something amazing, okay? Things are always quiet and a bit disorganized in the beginning. That doesn't mean that the potential isn't there for something bigger, greater, etc. You may be the one with the vision. Other people may see the dust and the mess. You may see the dust and the mess and think, I need to clean this up. I know how to clean this up. Basically, this is all about being the star. And the star is, figuratively speaking, it's the person that people are looking up to, but like as a sort of element of removing or ordering chaos, it's the one thing that comes together and brings it all in. So leadership, we're looking at some leadership opportunities for many of you, and I'm excited to see how that kind of factors out. All right, so these are your high-level messages for today. Really beautiful messages, I must say, at that. I think it's so important and timely for many of us to think about slowing down, taking our time, and to really focus on being able to see our connection or our place in the larger galaxy of things, right? All of these things matter, okay? So again, we're going to move on to the next piece, which is going to be the 7-day forecast. And the 7-day forecast is going to take us from Sunday to Sunday and give us some perspectives on what we have in front of us. So let me decide what I'm going to do for the 7-day forecast with the cards. I think I'm just going to use the Afro Goddess deck. I usually do use that for this portion, and we'll see what's coming through. So I'm going to pull all the cards first, and then we'll take a look at how they're going to factor out for all of you. So we'll begin here with today, Sunday. We'll look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday again. All right, so let's take some time to look at each and every one of these and see what's coming through for the week ahead. Okay, so we'll begin with today. We have this lovely Goddess of Wands card, Queen of Wands. She's one of my favorite cards because she reminds us of the importance of leadership, that you can think your way through anything. She does, in the reverse state, however, say, don't get lost in your head. This can be beating yourself up. This can be overthinking. You have to trust in this moment that you know exactly what you need to do, and that you're not going to be put into a position where you can't handle it. So I think the main thing with this one is you absolutely can and will handle everything in front of you, and it's going to be okay, all right? So focus on believing, focus on leading, and focus also on letting people come to you if they need to. So when this card is in the reverse state, a lot of times what happens is you feel like you need or have to take care of everything. You know, I just talked about being the star. The interesting thing with like our sun is it kind of set order, but there's the gravity itself kind of took care of the other things. So once there's a central focal point, then everything else has a rhyme, a way, a reason of kind of stepping in and going where it needs to. The other kind of constituents, in this case, it's the planets, right? Especially planets like Jupiter. They also play, that would be like the manager of this solar system because it's so big and it keeps a lot of the crazy stuff that we don't want in the inner rocky planets away from us. It will rotate them in another orbit and get them in and out. Who can you lean on? Who else can you kind of let do their job and take care of things? The Queen of Wands in reverse doesn't need to get herself in the weeds. So today, take a step back. Let some other people come in and do their job. It's not all your job all the time. You don't have to take care of all of that. There's a lot going on in your life, and so I think it's important for you to just let other people come in and do what they're supposed to do. All right, let's go to your next card here. So we have the Eight of Pentacles, and a beautiful Eight of Pentacles it is. It was reversed, but this is still a great card. I like that she's kind of putting finishing touches on things. This is for Monday, by the way. So as we're looking at the energy of Monday, what you want to do is basically finish what you started. If there's something that you've been hoping or wishing or waiting to do, it feels like I said a little bit earlier, you're much further along than you might anticipate. And if you just decide, yeah, today's the day that I'm going to put those final touches on this and really let everything shine through. It's going to feel great, okay? So the other thing here is writing, literally writing, revising, revisiting. It's very kind of like a retrograde type card here where you can go back, finish, perfect, etc. One thing that I think is important is to know when enough is enough. As a recovering perfectionist, sometimes I think I just push that one piece too far. So when you've finally gotten to the point that it feels good, be done. Move on. Hand it off to the next person so they can put their finishing touches on it as well. Okay? I think that is going to be paramount to just feeling better about things and to not exhausting yourself. Remember that this is, it's a long distance run, something that I like to refer to. When I was in elementary and high school, I ran track and field. So when you would sprint, you kind of just put it all out there at once. Everything is done. If you do long distance, it requires more pacing. It requires more planning. It requires, I would even say, a little bit more intelligence too, because you need to know how far to push, when to kind of kick into second gear, etc. So pace yourself. You're off to a good start. Let some other people step in and do the required work that they need to do, and it's gonna be fine. All right? Very productive day on Monday. Tuesday is a day that you want to take care of yourself. This is potentially when some of that energy around putting your foot in your mouth could happen, because some of you are going through some difficulties where you think to yourself, what am I going to do to air some of my grievances? I'm not happy. I'm upset. I feel like I need to kind of clear the air. So one thing that I would say for you first is to really just make sure that you know truly how you feel and why you feel the way you feel. So go to the source and go to the core of it before you just sort of talk to the first person. We've all been through an instance where we just feel like we have to vent. So if you need to vent, find someone that is prepared and ready and willing to do that. But make sure that's clear, that you're telling them that I just need to talk. We see the little snake at the top of this Three of Swords, and that's where it can get tricky sometimes. Don't abuse power. Don't abuse a friendship. Don't just sort of spout out. I think it would be important for you to kind of clear your head and find an outlet for some of the frustration first and foremost, and then you can come back and talk about whatever it is that you need to talk about. Relationships, this is a day where it could feel a little bit heavy because you're going to be dealing with, how am I going to make sense of this? What do I do to make this better? So just really self-care, I think, is best on Tuesday. There may be something that just also comes into focus where you finally realize this isn't the place, this isn't the person, this isn't the time. So 3 and 10 of of swords rather, 3 of swords, 10 of swords. Sometimes they're like a full stop or a period. You've had enough. So if you've had enough, do something about it, okay? This is the one day you need to take a little care of yourself. Wednesday's looking a lot better. By the way, on Tuesday, one last thing. If you can avoid having some sort of a difficult conversation with somebody, it would be better to put that off, actually until the end of the week. But if you needed to, just one day before or one day after, the energy is much better. I see you getting a lot done midweek. So Wednesday's looking really good here. We have the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands, of course, is a hidden community card, meaning that there's a lot of help. There's a lot of people around you that basically you can get farther, faster if you allow yourself to go with the flow. The question is, are you comfortable doing that? Some of you might also feel like you're getting lost in that flow and you're wondering, how do I make sure that people see me, that I'm still showing up, etc. Okay? I would say the other thing here for many of you that might be either working on yourself or working in a small group or in a small business, there could be so much going on that you lose track of some things. So organization midweek, super important. Get a to-do list, even if it's just a few items, and make sure that you don't forget it. It's kind of like when you go to the grocery store and you think you're going to remember all this stuff, but halfway home in the car, you remember, okay, I forgot this, this, and this. Just get that to-do list together and it's going to be all right. Delegation is also possible because, again, all those other, you can see her throwing this baton in the air. There's a lot of other people doing the same thing. So you can work together, you can delegate, you can decide to do a little less. All of that is part of this. As we get into Thursday, what we're really looking at opportunity-wise is the ability to go a little deeper and develop an idea to understand yourself or someone else a little bit more. Someone may also be shopping an idea toward you, like in your direction, and saying, hey, what do you think about this? Could you give me some insight? Could you give me some feedback? And with the Ace of Wands in reverse, if it feels good, then good for you. Then this is something that's proper. But if there's something about it that just feels off, then I want you to listen to that and trust that, because the Ace of Wands can sometimes indicate that, reverse, that it's just not, it's not right for you, okay? Don't overthink things. That is one thing that I would say. We've got 2 Wands cards in reverse, so you have something good, go with it. The other thing here is that if the timing is off, or if someone's pushing you, that's never okay. So make sure that there's no sort of like pushiness that's a part of this experience, and that's going to help you kind of stay in a position of power and keep your head kind of clear too. All of that's coming through. Vitality, when this card is reversed, can be another thing. So for some of you, you're just feeling like, why am I doing this? The thrill is gone. That sort of energy for many of you is, it's not just about like, it can be inspiration and motivation, but it can also be something deeper. So you got to focus on your mind, body, spirit. So is there something going on with sleep and nutrition, like we talked about, that's not giving you the energy? Are you leaning too much on alcohol or caffeine or nicotine? Are you just simply sick of being in a certain place at a certain time? If you are, that's what you need to kind of clear out first, and then the head is going to open up, and then you're going to make a lot of progress. Friday looks fantastic. This is a good day for conflict negotiation. We have the 6 of Cups in reverse, but the 6 of Cups in reverse can also be a surprise, a happy surprise. So you may be able to make a new alliance. Someone may surprise you with their own sort of thoughtful energy. Something about this day is going to be really nice. You also may want to reconnect with friends, family, or children in your life, or kind of do something that inner child really appreciates and enjoys. So definitely you have encouragement and I would say also the resources, many of you, to do that. So take some time, make this a priority. People matter. Good day for, again, having a difficult conversation and coming back to a place where you remembered why you liked that person in the first place, okay? Let's move on to the weekend, and then we'll get into the next portion of this reading. So on the weekend, we have next Saturday, the 9 of Wands card, and this is showing the sort of inner warrior, the inner sort of perseverance that we all can and should have. You don't want to give up. You're very close to something coming to fruition. This card can indicate some issues with the head. So a lot of times with this, we can have a migraine. We may have not eaten enough and we're kind of hangry, hungry and angry, or crangry, crazy angry, and because it's from food. So just kind of give yourself a chance to take a break, take care of yourself. Again, a lot of self-care that's coming through this week, and push through then to the final phase. You're going to find hidden energy once you do that. The end is near. The light is at the end of the tunnel. So keep the perspective of why you're doing what you're doing, and it's going to be a lot easier to get stuff done. All right, and then finally we have Queen of Swords upright a week from now, obviously subject to change as we start to look into some of the new energy available to us, and as you start to kind of make some decisions. But Queen of Swords, one of my favorite cards, I would say, because she is powerful. She knows how to use her words. She's not afraid to take action. It's a very sort of verb-oriented type card where it creates action, it attracts action. So what's necessary for this, though, is a combination of talking the talk and walking the walk. So what you say, you have to follow through in actions. If you need to sign, seal, or deliver something, this is a really good day and a really good card for overall negotiations. Okay? So overall, your energy is looking really, really nice. And if we just kind of review all of these cards, I like what I'm seeing. Again, this one's symbolic of today, the rest kind of symbolic of the week ahead. So this is not overthinking things as we're looking at today, remembering to let people come to you and to know that you've already got sort of like the core idea in place. You don't have to keep revising everything. So you focus on you. Monday, finish what you've started. Tuesday, self-care. Avoid any sort of unnecessary conflicts or conversations. Wednesday's when you can actually get really productive and get things done. If you can hold off until Thursday or Friday to have those sort of negotiations, they're going to be much better. Thursday's when you're kind of getting your head cleared. And then on Friday, you've got a chance to resolve conflict. Next weekend looking really, really nice here. You're going to see the end in sight as we look at next Saturday. You can make a lot of headway as well. Focus on the headspace, of course. And then, of course, as we're looking at Sunday, next Sunday, that's a time to sign, seal, and deliver something. Okay? So beautiful cards, beautiful messages. All right, so let's take a look real quick at, again, what I'm kind of doing today. And we just went through the channeled messages and 7-day forecast. So one thing's, usually I do, sometimes I flip it around, but I'm going to do the blessings and blocks first just because I want to have some more space. So let's do the blessings and blocks right now. And I'm going to use a related deck for the blessings and blocks. All of these are Afro Goddess decks, and this is like the Oracle deck that kind of complements this. So let's take a look and see. The blessing, of course, is self-explanatory. That's going to be something that brings, something great into your life. You don't have to worry about it. You can embrace it. The block, of course, being something that you want to avoid. Blessing is the clouds, and the block is the star, which is what we were really talking about much earlier. It was literally the last thing that I put out here, which was to basically be the star, right? I'll pull it up this way, to be the star. So make sure that you're comfortable in doing that and embracing that. All right, let's chat about these. So the blessing card first. We have clouds, and it's kind of interesting how beautiful this card is. You can just see someone getting lost in that. Very, very airy kind of energy here. So really good day for you to practice talking it out or speaking it out. A really good card to indicate that, rather. And also it has the number 6 on it. So for some of us, this may be like next Saturday or something. But I want you to really, like, the sky's the limit. Don't limit yourself. So this goes back. Actually, these two are very related. This is the sort of chaos card before you understand where it comes together. And this is the order. So we actually got the cloud nebula, and then we got the star. Very much what I was talking about in channeled messages. So for the blessing is find beauty in the breakdown, in the chaos, in the mess. There's a gem. There's a gem in whatever's around you. You have to see it, and you have to seize it as well. So if you're ready to go after that and say, I can do it, or this is how it's going to be, or I see it even if nobody else in my life understands it, you're on to something. That's awesome. So you've seen the potential. You've seen what we're going to look at the block here is the star. The interesting thing with the star, when we think about it, most of us don't get to enjoy it. We're sleeping. Some people in your life are in that sleepy state. They're not going to see that glimmering sort of diamond in the sky. You have to see what others can't. And realize that in this sort of moment here, there's a lot of work. Just like any of you that work in production. There's a lot of work behind the scenes. There's a lot of preparation. Even for me to get this new setup together, lots of preparation. So as you kind of like set things up, sometimes people may not notice what's going on with you, but you're going to be able to bring something together. Moms know this all because you make everything look easy, right? You're keeping, the kids fed, the house in order. And same thing with dads sometimes, because it can be a stay-at-home dad. Whoever the primary person is that takes care of the kids and manages the household, that person sometimes does the lion's share. And if it's a partnership, sometimes both partners can take one another for granted because they're making it look easy. So one thing that's going to be important, and the reason that the star card is in the block, is when it comes to work, don't be afraid to let people in on the preparation portion. Say, hey, I'm glad you like what I did. I did this, this, and this to research it. I've been working on this, this, and this, and I've actually put in this overtime. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. This is a way that you can lead into career growth. In a relationship, of course, it's going to be a lot less technical. It's more going to be, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I want to let you in on some of the things that I've been doing. Let's see if we can do both of these things a little bit better. If there's some ways that we'll work together smarter. So see what's going on. And being the star and being that light sometimes feels a little bit lonely, or people may not understand how you can do what you're doing. So let them in on the secret. And I think that's going to help that block become a blessing. Okay? Really great stuff. I kind of put the two together today because they're very much connected. So it's not blessing versus block. It's that if you see what's possible, it'll happen, but you have a lot of cleanup, a lot of sort of organization to do. And that's why when we looked at the midweek portion here with the Eight of Wands, you don't have to do it all alone, okay? And even when I was talking about our totem earlier, the Nine of Pentacles, just because you can be independent, just because you can manage all this stuff doesn't mean that you have to all the time, okay? So let me clear some space here, and we're going to, I'll leave these cards where they're at. We're going to move along now to the elements. So what I just went through was blessings and blocks. Hope you enjoyed that. We're going to move now along to the elemental forecast. The elemental forecast is just as it says here, fire, earth, air, and water. And for the elemental forecast, I'm going to use a different deck. Let me see here which one calls to me, and I'll let you vote on the main deck in a second. I'm going to use one that I actually did in the last reading here. So this is the Fountain. I think this is Fountain Tarot. All right, so give me a second here to take a look at the different signs here. I'm going to just switch the view so you can see everything as I'm shuffling, and then we're going to do fire, earth, air, and water. All right. I'll break it down with each sign, so don't worry. So fire, earth, air, and water. So let's begin with fire first. All right, so we're in the elemental forecast. We're looking at fire, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, in case you need to be reminded. We have the Six of Pentacles coming through here. So for many of you, there is this moment of deciding, how much do I want to give? This card is kind of interesting because the Pentacles are getting almost kind of like absorbed into this card, right? It feels like they're getting stuck in a bigger sort of thing. So just like a vine can kind of pull you into something, this Six of Pentacles is saying there could be some people, some organizations, some environmental sort of pulls at you that are trying to kind of get you to agree with them, trying to get you basically under their skin. You don't have to say yes to everything. The power of the Six of Pentacles for all my fire signs is to say no or yes to what really matters the most, okay? So I think it's going to be important for you to figure out what's most important. The prioritization that I was talking about, making the list when we were looking at like Wednesday or Thursday, this is when it's going to kind of come in handy for you. So know how much you need to work, what you need to do, and figure out if something brings you closer to that or further away from that. And that's going to be the most important thing. All right. So the cool thing with the Six of Pentacles is you can do almost anything that you want if you put your mind to it. And also if you basically decide, you can adjust timing. So you could say, I have this much resources and this much time. I can't do this in this month, but I can do it in like 6 weeks. I need a couple more weeks. You could say, if you need it done in 4 weeks, then I need to hire someone or I need help. So you can add money to something, you can add time to something, or you can remove scope. You can just say, if we take these and these things off my plate, then I can do this. So that's Six of Pentacles in action. It's negotiating, it's compromising, it's kind of back and forth. Very flexible, very kind of fun to work with versus Two of Pentacles, which is one or the other, or Justice, which is a hard decision. So you have power. Negotiate this month, okay? And you'll be surprised at what you can do with that negotiation skill. All right, so we just did fire. Let's move on to our earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. All right, we have the Five of Cups coming through here. The Five of Cups is reversed. You have a couple of reversals here, but anyway, for the Five of Cups in reverse, perspective shift is what we're seeing here. So we can see this figure here looking towards the things that have fallen away or apart. And then we see behind him two hidden cups, an opportunity for, something really beautiful to be happening. Maybe a friend, maybe an offer for assistance, maybe something that he never imagined, but he's focusing in the wrong direction. So for all my earth signs this week, I think the important thing for you to do is to really redirect your energy into something where you see reciprocity, where you see progress, where you feel like, hey, I can actually make a difference here. So just to pull the card up closer one more time, you can see again, it's all in perspective here. And if you're willing to look in a different direction, you'll be surprised at actually how this cloudy weather starts to clear. Always a hidden Two of Cups here. So in this corner here, you can see the Two of Cups. So there could be someone in your corner that says, hey, I know you've been through some tough times. We've all been through some tough times. Let me help you, okay? So let's move on to our air signs next. This is going to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We have the Eight of Swords. It's an awakening for some of you, but the question is, do you want to see what you can see? Also, it's encouraging you to have some comfort with ambiguity. It's not always going to be easy to see everything, and you can't always see everything. So lean into what we're going to be talking about in the the special topic today, the Oracle, seeing beyond what's in front of you. Especially my air signs. It feels like many of you have chosen this topic for yourself based on what we see in the week ahead. Okay? So I think that if you can think to yourself, I wish I could see more. I wish I could be more comfortable with everything, but I'm just going to take it one day at a time, combining that Fool energy that we had with the snail with the star. I'm just going to step into something new and out of my comfort zone and trust that it's all going to come together. You really need to have inner trust. If there's something that someone's ignoring, if you're ignoring something, this particular card is also kind of begging for you to step out of that. I actually posted a little snippet on my Instagram earlier. By the way, if you need to follow me on social media, you can do it here. But I was talking past couple days in the impromptu, and then I think even that morning there was a special talk or a special note about this. But the Eight of Swords can be kind of like being in a self-imposed prison. I use the metaphor of a caged bird. And what I wanted to add to that little snippet is you're not at all trapped. It's time to step out of that door, but you just have to retrain yourself. Old habits die hard, and sometimes we think to ourselves, this is the way it's always been. This is the way that it has to be. It isn't. So if you're able to see it, you can do it. If you're not able to see it, even if others are, they're going to have a very hard time coming around to supporting you, because they're going to think, how can I have faith in someone that doesn't have faith in themselves? So have faith in yourself, trust yourself. Transparency is key. You're going to be all right. All right, let's move on to our water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You have a really great card this week. It's the Four of Wands. Great energy for community. And if we look really close, we see some people out having a blast on the beach. And we see these lovely beacons of light kind of coming up, almost like lightsabers, right? So with the Four of Wands, this card usually can indicate that if you want to create a new foundation, particularly one that involves people that you care about in your life, then you absolutely can make that happen right here and right now, okay? And even if someone hasn't shown up yet to step into that place, you've built the essential pieces to make it possible. And that's all you have to kind of focus on, is to continue to create the foundations, build a strong foundation. If you're looking for help, if you're looking for a job, if you want to be seen or heard, this is a powerful card that will help you align with the higher energies necessary for all of the above. Okay? So yeah, really cool actually for all of you. And just to kind of look at it one last time and to review it, as we're looking at fire, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, you're really going to have to focus on saying no, creating a schedule and a priority list and sticking to it, not kind of getting stuck into that energy of the Six of Pentacles in reverse, which is being out of balance. If someone calls too late or asks for help at one time too many, you can just say no to that. You have enough though. This is the requisite card to have enough, okay? So again, this was for fire and for earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Changing your perspective, seeing a hidden opportunity. It's there if you're willing to see it, if you're willing to embrace it. And when you change your perspective, you also change what's offered up to you. Air signs. If you can see it, others can. If you can't, others won't. If you can see beyond the chaos, the way we were talking about with the clouds and the star card here earlier, I think that's going to also be really important for you. All signs, of course, because we were talking about that, but really important to take a look at that. And then finally, as we were looking at water, you're going to have a great time working with people. Teamwork, grabbing the right kind of people at the right time, all of that's really important. All right. So I think we got through everything at a decent pace there. So we've done channeled messages, 7-day forecast, elemental forecast, blessings and blocks. Let's take a look at a viewer poll, a question that maybe you can assist with, or you can have a say in, I should say. So let me just clear out some of these cards here so I have some space on the table. And then I'm going to, usually I do a couple of things here. I will do a viewer's choice and then sometimes a reader's choice, just to kind of make sure that you have something to do while I put the poll out there. So one moment here. All right. So some things that I'd like to look at. I should have left some of the cards on the table, but I remember what I saw. So let me create a poll here. We are going to take a look at a few things here. So viewer's choice. All right. When I was looking at the energy of seeing like beyond the chaos here, one of the things that I want to figure out is how to get organized. That's really what we were seeing with that cloud and star card. So how to get organized. That would be one thing. The next thing that I think would be really, really important is to take a look at being willing to take that first step, because again, talking about the caged bird and the Eight of Swords, how to take the first step, how or when to take that first step. Okay, and then let's add one more option here. And I think the other one that would be nice is to take a look at balancing things out, because we were looking at, you know, the sort of organizational energy of the Six of Pentacles. So with the Six of Pentacles, finding the perfect balance. And we'll see what comes through on that. So I'm going to go ahead and send that out there for you guys to take a look at. And I'm going to focus on a reader's choice while you're voting, because I know that there's a little bit of a delay while I'm doing this because of the new setup. So I'm going to go ahead here and shuffle the cards a bit, and we're going to take a look at a reader's choice. So for you this week, we're going to be looking at what's beyond the beyond in a few moments here as we do this. I think what would be really nice right here and right now is to focus on anything that you need to do to get out of the way of progress. So I did this a little bit when I was basically focusing on the energy of, oops, I kind of messed with the game there, didn't I? There we go. I did a little bit of this when I was focusing on what was available to in the impromptu here to kind of get out of your way. So we're going to take a look at the block that might be kind of getting in the way of you being able to do what's necessary. So let's take a look real quick and see what can you do to get out of your own way. The World card, simply taking that first step. So the main message that's coming through is do not be afraid to take the first step or the right step in the right direction. It's also about making sure that you're ready, willing, and able to go that extra. Like for some of you, it could be a move. It could be needing to really kind of go way outside of your comfort zone. So the World card is reminding you that to change, you have to like truly embrace the change, truly step into that energy of change. So to be able to see what's available to you, get out of where you're at, maybe take a trip. If you need to move for a job or move for a relationship, that World card is saying like really go as far as you can possibly go, and you'll be surprised at what's available. Okay? All right. So by the way, just a quick note for those of you that might have issues with voting, you have to be on a mobile device or a computer or laptop. And if you're looking at it on a TV, of course you can't vote. And if you've maximized your viewer, you have to be able to see chat. So if that's not working, there could just be a plugin or a block there. But I think we have enough now to take a look and see. It looks like we got about 41% asking for how to take that first step. So let's go ahead now and take a look at that. All right, so how can we take the first step? Really good question. Let's see what the cards will yield for this. All right, so I'll let you see the desk as I'm doing this. Okay, so taking a look at this, we have the Empress card coming through for your question again. which by 40% of the vote was how to take the first step. So I apologize, by the way, if there was a little bit of a delay. That's one of the trade-offs for me, having a multicam setup and doing what I'm doing here. Okay, so for the Empress card, what I would say is important for you is to take complete ownership of something. Empress card is being in control, being comfortable with having that extra visibility and also accountability, and also taking care of yourself in this process too. So this is kind of as much as like the Queen of Pentacles is a universal mother card, so is the Empress. So take care of yourself and really nurture whatever it is that you want to see happen. Imagine that it is your baby. So if that's personal development, if it's a project, if it is literally someone in your family that you care about, the important thing is that you do it, you own it, and you do it in the way that you want to do it. So there's a lot of, like with power comes responsibility, I think is how that goes, right? So for many of you, you have to kind of figure out, how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to take this extra responsibility on? So ask for some advice. A mentorship or basically a mentor in your life could really help you with this as well. Okay? I think that the good news with the Empress is you can absolutely do it. So in order to get out of your way, the other thing here, because if I go back to our channeled messages, like what's the first step, how to take the first step, it's really about knowing that you don't need permission, you don't need leadership, and maybe for the first time in your life, you're not going to have somebody above you. It's kind of scary when that happens, right? Because when something's wrong, it's on you. The focus is on you. So the cool thing is when things go right, the attention is also there. And you get to maybe for the first time shine for all the opportunities, all the skills, all the beauty that you have to offer. That's part of the star. That's part of the King or Queen cards. So with power comes responsibility. Take the responsibility. Take the chance on yourself. If not now, then when? And if not you, then who? So you absolutely can do this if you want to do it. And I guess that's kind of like the deeper question. Do you want to do it? All right, I'm going to give you a chance to vote on some of the cards here. I realize there may be a delay. So the minute you see a poll, you should vote on it just so that I can kind of deal with it. It looks like I might have a minute or two delay with the new setup, but I appreciate all of you kind of being understanding and flexible as I get used to some of the new technology here. So we're going to do a viewer's choice here on which deck you would like me to use. And I'm going to put up for opportunity here like Afro Goddess, which is what I used earlier. Beautiful, bright colors. Let's see here. I think I might also pull the Fountain deck in, let's see. Yeah, let me pull a few here. Just give me a second. Since there's a delay, this will work in our benefit. All right, let's see. Some different cards that we haven't used in a while. Okay, so I think I'm going to do Afro Goddess, which you're very familiar with. And then I'll do, I think this is called Spirit Within. That's all silhouettes. And then we're going to do the Modern Witch deck. And then the Luna deck, which has the sort of iridescence to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these out there for consideration. And we'll go from there. All right, so Afro Goddess, Spirit Within, and Modern Witch, and the Luna deck. Okay, so you have a chance to vote on that. And while you're doing that, let's just kind of talk about what's coming into the next portion here. We're going to look at the special topic. Again, the special topic for today is the oracle seeing beyond what's in front of you. So for some of us, much like the Eight of Swords that we saw with the air signs, it's hard to understand, like, am I in the right place? Am I tracking in the right direction? What's going on? Is this going to be okay? So for all of you that are kind of feeling that, kind of like the little bit of a delay that I have here, already, like, your future's, it's already out there. Kind of like, that's a great metaphor for where many of us are. There's a little bit of a lag, but that doesn't mean that it isn't happening. That doesn't mean that we can't do it. Okay. So once we kind of just believe that, hey, it's going to happen. I may not know the exact timing or place, but I can already see it happening. Then it becomes easier. Then the universe knows that you're okay. All right, so it looks like the Luna deck is actually taking the lead. So I feel pretty good. I know some of you might have a delay, but when you see these polls coming up, you know that it's time to vote. So I'm going to go ahead with the Luna deck, and I just want to say thank you to everybody that voted. Let me get the setup ready here, and then we'll get going. Okay. So let's take a look. And don't worry, I can rotate some of these other cards in as I'm doing the reading today, and I probably will. All right, let's take a look and see what's coming through. So one thing that I forgot to put on the earlier sort of lower third graphic is that this portion of the reading can be considered a timeless portion. Whenever you need this information, it's here for you. And a lot of this is going to, again, basically you can use it at any time when you're ready to see it and embrace it. So I'm going to do something unique on this. Rather than looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny, I may do past, present, and future, but let's see. I'll kind of do that for the big idea at the end. It could still be, we'll still take a look at these, but we'll move through them more quickly because they kind of have a more symbolic connection here as we're looking at a larger question like this. All right, let's begin here with your Lord Ganesha card here, which is to embrace the possibilities. And I think one of the most important things, again, we're doing a special topic here, which is seeing beyond what's in front of you. So the embrace message really has to do about embracing possibilities. Not so much like what's right here, right now, embracing what you possibly think could happen. That's so important. Sometimes we get so focused on what we did wrong, what other people think we can do, what's kind of like expected of us, that we don't embrace the sort of playful side and just think, but what if I did this? What if I tried this? I love the sort of nurturing energy that we see here with his companion. And it's basically saying, just have some fun and embrace the possibilities. Okay. Center card, Ace of Swords reversed. So seeing beyond what's in front of you. Here's what could be blocking you with this card. Ace of Swords reversed is I can't or it won't sometimes. It can be a negative or a critical card, but we don't want too much critical. We want constructively critical. So if we take the Ace upright, what we could do instead is say, what if this happens? What if this is amazing? What if it surpasses my expectations? And in all of these particular situations, that what if becomes something beautiful, something amazing, okay? So I think that one of the ways that you can turn things around is to take your fear, like your fear here, and turn it right side up or upside down or inside out. So if your fear is, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, they won't like me. What if I'm more than enough? What if I actually far surpass expectations and people not only like me, but they love what I'm doing? Like, put the question, just flip it. And then the fear subsides a little bit. The stomach feels a little bit better, since that was part of what came through in channel messages. All of that matters. All right, we have the Eight of Cups on top of this. So if you set something into motion now, then it really starts to create a new cycle in your life. This is bringing nice predictable, cyclical energy, the kind that you really want to see happen. And who doesn't want that? That's fantastic. The Eight of Cups with this can also indicate that for some of you, there's a chance to really not only sort of call into, but like it's almost like put something concrete into action. So when this happens, it's almost like until it's set into a new direction, like in outer space, when something goes in one direction, it keeps traveling in that direction until it's given a way, a reason, or sort of a gravitational pull otherwise. So some of you have this chance to sort of like really set into motion something that will just keep going, like almost like it's its own momentum. So I like the momentum energy that we're seeing with that one. Six of Cups, deep past. You're not alone. We saw this actually coming through toward the end of the week ahead, but for many of you, this is a chance to really connect with someone who, it's not like just someone that says yes, it's someone that understands you and you really feel like is has your back. So seeing what's beyond, what's not just in front of you, you already have this in your life. It's here in the past. So someone in your life not only may be like the potential for a best friend, there may also be like deep love energy there as well. So here's one of the hidden perspectives or things that you may not be kind of looking at every day. It's that you have someone that truly, truly loves and cares about you. So lean into that. The other thing that you haven't necessarily seen is that there's a new cycle that's going to be a steady and predictable one. So one of the fears that you may have is, what if this ends? What if it doesn't end? What if it actually, you've created some great momentum and great sort of legacy and it's going to continue? Because based on what I'm seeing, you have the potential to do that. Okay? This is the answer to the question that you just posed earlier, which is to take control, to take leadership. So we have the Emperor card coming through. You're already poised for that. You're already capable of doing that, right? So are you ready? That would be sort of the question that I would pose to you. Until you're ready, things don't and won't kind of move to the next level. If we go back to the original Matrix series and like the very first, or maybe it was the second one, first or second, can't remember. I think it was the first. The Oracle meets with Neo and she says, you've got all this stuff, but you don't believe it yet. You know, you're waiting for something else to happen. So until he believed in himself, he couldn't actually be the one. So you're already the one, you're already ready, but you may not believe in yourself fully. So others believe in you. You have all of the characteristics necessary to lead the charge. So I would say for those of you that are worrying a little bit about self-confidence or leadership, I see it all coming through for you. There could be someone in your life. Sometimes the Emperor is father figure, boss, or even a friend that kind of steps in there and makes you wonder, should you do this, etc. It's interesting that we see these sort of the Ankh symbol on his bracelet. Some of us can be bound by someone else's sort of wishes or promises, or they make us feel kind of like we have to do something a certain way. And this is a reminder that that isn't necessarily a healthy kind of perspective. So reclaim your boundaries, say no to something, dissolve a partnership where that isn't being allowed. You know, if someone is basically making you do everything that they want to do, I think that's going to be really key. Okay. Justice. Do you believe in yourself? And do you want to do this? And are you willing to put your full energy behind it? Justice, she is upright, which means she's deciding, she's waiting, she's hoping, she's kind of pulling it all together. But she hasn't completely been sold on everything just yet. So for some of you, it has to feel right. You have to see it. You have to believe it. You have to want it. And then also do the right thing. It feels like seeing beyond what's in front of you. If I kind of put that statement to this, you know what's right and you know what's wrong. So use that compass. It won't lead you astray. It never will. Justice is one of the best cards for kind of like something like that. If you're looking for a positive outcome, if it's upright, it's a good card. It just shows me that you're on the fence a little bit. So decide. Decide what it is that you want. And sometimes, like we've been talking about today, if we go back to the Afro Goddess sort of oracle deck that I was working with, you have to see through the chaos and be the star here. It was actually this order. So if you can do that, then you're going to be okay. The Magician card reversed. So the Magician is one of the most powerful cards that you can pull. but it can also be one of the most distracted cards. When we see a magician like this one in reverse, what happens sometimes is that you lose perspective, you lose focus, you lose faith, or you're not certain. Uncertainty is a tricky sort of thing to deal with when it comes to manifesting, because again, when people are looking at you, when situations are kind of arising around you, you really have to kind of tap in and think like, how would you feel if you were talking to someone who said, like, let's imagine it's a doctor and they were like, I don't know, I feel like this could be it. You don't want to hear that. You want to hear, we did the test. Incontrovertibly, this is the thing that you need to do. You want to hear a sense of certainty. So if it's too kind of on the fence, you're going to be not as effective with your manifestation. So definitely be careful when it comes to that. And then also just do less, but do it better. That's one thing that can definitely help the Magician card. She has one eye closed here and she's kind of tuning in. So it already kind of is what we said, which is you're not going to necessarily see everything in front of you. It is subtle. Change is subtle. Growth is subtle. So see beyond what is in front of you and trust. Again, a lot of this is going to, unfortunately or fortunately, fall in the area of trust. The Magician and the Emperor card tell me that you have the power and you have the skills to do it. So hopefully my encouragement will help you get to the next level. All right, time for some change. This is you. This does not mean you're dying. Not in this particular spread. The Oracle card is about symbolism, right? So death is change. It is the doorway. It's the nexus between ends and beginnings. So as you stand at this nexus, at this doorway, it can be really exciting to just let things go, right? To just let everything go a little bit and think to yourself, wow, that was something. And I'm happy that it's done, but I'm also really happy that I don't have to repeat that anymore. I'm looking forward to the next big thing, right? Because you've earned this opportunity in your life and you've earned the next big thing. So give yourself a chance to let it go. And then also just embrace possibilities. So this card can also be the chaotic card that we see here, because when something ends, we have oftentimes more questions than we have answers. So it's not always about the answers, it's about the questions. So the death energy comes through here because the universe wants you to question what's next. Like if I've had jobs end before. I've had a layoff in the past when I was working freelance work, and it happened over like a Thanksgiving time in the US. And so I was with a family member and I just thought, okay, well, I'm going to enjoy this lovely meal. And then I've got to think, what is next? What do I do next? So you have a challenge and an opportunity to kind of figure out if you're ready, if you're willing, if you're able to step into the change and what you're going to do about that change. But everything that we're seeing so far is actually really, really positive. You've attracted good people. You have the power. You have the skills. You also have the ability to put this into action and make something happen. The missing piece is you deciding that you can and you should, you embracing this sort of portal of change. Because right above it, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And with this Wheel of Fortune here comes the ability for you to really embrace a new cycle in your life. And let's pull this card up closer here. So the Wheel of Fortune, I love this one because it actually ties into the energy of death. They actually kind of look the same. You have to be careful when reading with this deck. So here we see like Archangel Azrael, and Azrael is also kind of holding the Wheel of Fortune here and saying, okay, this change brings growth. Do you want it? Do you believe? Sometimes when I read for people that are having a hard time finding either work or a partner, very similar energies, by the way, because it's just different types of partnerships, I will get justice. She can either be upright or reverse. So here you haven't decided that you can do something, that you want to do something. You may not believe fully in something. So all that's missing is inner conviction. I can, I will, I am. Pick one of those and then finish it like Mad Libs. I can, I will, I am going to do this, this, or this. Figure out what it is, and that is going to be what brings about this change, growth, abundance. A new season, a new reason, something really, really cool on the horizon. This is in the environment. It's ripe for the picking, okay? So if and when you're ready, it's there for you. Moving along to your hopes, fears, and opportunities, we have the Queen of Pentacles card. Give her a second to come in. Queen of Pentacles card, of course, is here to tell you a couple of things. First of all, to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself, to focus on making sure that you ask for what's important to your own sort of well-being. I'm showing the inset because she's attached to change, the Wheel of Fortune, and basically she's a result of these things. So if you ask for what you want, you might be surprised at what you get. If you speak up a little bit, if you make yourself seen a little bit more, if you take care of yourself, then you're able to kind of have a nice firm foundation here. Self-care is going to be important. And if not, then this card gets a little bit harder to kind of like keep where it's at. So this is possibilities. It's tentative. It's something that you can change, you can work on. So I'd really encourage you to say, I deserve this. I'm worth it. And that's basically why she's coming through. There could be really strong energy with mothers in your life or divine feminine energy. And what you have to decide with this is, what do I want to do about that? Do I need to reclaim? Is someone stepping in too much? And once you kind of get that reclamation in place, things will feel better for you. Ultimately, she's still a power card. She has resources, money, etc. attached to her. She's right above the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like if you're ready and willing, some good stuff is coming through for you. We have the Seven of Cups reversed, and this is in the Destiny card. So this is really about seeing. This is the confusion that some of you might be in the moment is, I don't know. There may be sort of like this abundance of opportunities, like it's all over the place. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. So you may have a lot of faith in yourself, but no clarity on what to do. If you are in that sort of situation, I think the important thing for you to do is to figure out, going back to the source, which one makes me feel most engaged? Which one makes me feel most excited? Decision time is here. This card is super powerful because it reminds me of a flashback that I had before one of my lifetimes. I don't know which, possibly this, but we get to go into a changing room, so to speak, with our guides. And there was 2 or 3, maybe it's more like 3 guides. And what they were showing me were, it's almost like you're looking into this cosmic. There is no computers in the other realm. It's just sort of like if you can see it, you can do it. So they were showing me things in my head. Do you want to live here? What kind of family do you want? What kind of experience? How much difficulty? What do you want to learn? We were making a lesson plan for my life and going through everything from this stuff to like what you look like to what's the big monuments in your life going to be? Those milestones? What are they going to feel like? But in that moment in time, there's no problem. You have protection and you get to do the what if. What if I'm this? What if I'm that? So I think the important thing for you is to do a couple of what ifs, but then you can't sit in that changing room forever. Eventually, you have to put something on. Put on whatever today's outfit is and say, this is me today. Tomorrow, I could be completely different. But make a choice. The more you can focus, the more this magician, the more she can come into her power. So focus is key. And if there's anyone in your life that gets in there and kind of like Inception plants a doubt or a seed, then it's time to kind of like move away from that for sure. Okay? So there you go. Let's go ahead now. We're going to expand the forecast here and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. They take on a slightly different energy when I'm looking at it in this particular spread. Everything's going to go back through the oracle energy. Basically, what's the big picture and what are we missing? What aren't we seeing with this? So we're going to start here with the health card. So let me just put on my glasses and we'll take a look at health. Health is the miracle of prayer. This is believing in yourself. Archangel Sandalphon, thank you for delivering my prayers and wishes. So it's not just like literally just prayers. This is your ability to dream and believe, which we've been talking about, and really step into, I believe this can happen. It is going to happen. And so for you, being hopeful and being positive is the single best thing that you could do to be healthier and happier. Some of you are, again, just very distracted or there's a lot going on. So talking to someone to clear your mind, remembering we talked about in the week, I think it was around Thursday, that would be a good point to kind of help clear things out. Also Tuesday when we had the 3 of Swords, anything that you can do to kind of like just clear your mind and clear your thoughts and clear the energy. And then really focus on potential, possibility, that Four of Cups card or Five of Cups card that we were talking about as well. Let me just look in specifically if there are some health messages as you need to sort of see what needs to be dealt with. It is time to like step out of something. So the Death card is saying, if you've been waiting for a sign, here's your sign. Should I stop something? Should I start something? Yes, with the Death card. Stop something that doesn't feel good, that doesn't support you, that you've been wondering and stagnating in for a while. Start something that brings you into that better energy. Could be a close brush with death, a health scare or something like that. The good news is we see a card of change, shift, and recovery. One thing that I think is important is to not overdo things. Queen and King of Pentacles reverse tend to lean on things like food, alcohol, and other habits to kind of like help soothe. So find another way to kind of self-soothe, talking to people, working on the bigger sort of issues at hand. All of that's going to be important. Ultimately, though, most of the stuff is pretty good here. I just feel like basically you have to make the decision and set that line in the sand. And when you do, some really great stuff happens. You can also leave the door open. If you are quitting a job, leaving a relationship, or moving away from a place for clarity, this plus Justice upright means I'm doing this for myself and I need to see how I feel. But once you're finished, you can always decide, that was better than I thought. Maybe I'll go back to that. Whatever it is that kind of comes to mind, then you can kind of like, you can always retread your tracks if you need to. I guess what I'm saying is, why not give it a try? If you can come back, if you can change it, if you can go back on something, then at least give this new opportunity a chance to sort of like surprise you. Okay, so that was the health card. Most of your overall cards look pretty good. Moving on to wealth, we have Diana here, focused intention. Think about what you desire. See your signs, set your sights high, and be an expert in the best way possible, and also expect the best outcome possible. So Diana, she's not afraid to hunt and go after what she wants. She has the crescent moon from the High Priestess. Focused intention. I could focus on all this other stuff, but I'm going to pick the one thing. I was having a conversation with a family member the other night, and I just said, help me shift my perspective. Help me find the blessings, because if I have a bad day, sometimes I need someone else to, and I said, I don't need anything other than just help me see the bright side of this and I'll feel better. They couldn't, so I did it. I was like, here's the bright side. This is this. And I just started to talk myself out of the low energy. We all go through it sometimes. So think about what you desire, set your sights high, expect the best possible outcome. Also turning the fears and the questions inside out, okay? So really lovely card, lovely message. And this is in your wealth position, which is ever so powerful because this is going to help affect everything else here. So focused intention. Okay, once you make the decision, then Diana is able to kind of help you bring that into fruition. So I believe in this. I'm going to focus on this. I choose this. By focusing this, the magician becomes upright and makes it happen. So that's how you can kind of work that to your power. The important thing, as we saw with Ganesh, is to really embrace what's possible. So if and only if you believe things, will they kind of come through. I like that you have a Wheel of Fortune card here. I like that you have a Queen of Pentacles card. So when it comes to wealth, you should ask for more. You should expect more. You should prioritize your needs more than you have in the past. And if you need to change or leave something, then this particular death card is saying it's absolutely okay for you to do that as well. Okay? So there's nothing negative in this spread, by the way. That is change. That is growth. This is decision time, basically. But there's no real negative cards here. So seeing beyond what's in front of you, well, there's just so much opportunity. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what our whole spread in front of us is. So embrace that opportunity and focus on what you can control. Okay? Let's move along to love. And we have here the Hathor light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, power recall. All right, so I think the important thing here as we're looking at love is it should feel like wherever you are at in your relationships, whether they're friendships, love, etc., it needs to feel like it's going somewhere. The upgrade portion speaks to me quite a bit, as does the solar plexus piece, the power recall, reclaim even is what I see with that. So you're going to focus on staying in the light, staying positive. Things need to be progressing. And if you need to reclaim or recall power or recall a decision that you've made, we're always allowed to sort of change. It's not like it's, concrete. If something we learn over time, like we have to sort of like shift and move, and the relationships have to shift and move as well. Let's look at it from the perspective of a few different things. We're going to look at those of you that are in love, looking for love, or single and happy. And we're going to use this sort of question here, which is like, what else can I see? What are you missing? That's a big part of what we're looking at today. So looking at all of this, I would say the important thing is we're looking at this for those of you in relationships. We have communication here with the Ace of Swords taking a real center seat here. And we actually have two really powerful cards on either side of this. So we have the Emperor, the King. We have the Magician, who usually is essential to the King. If you look at traditional things like King Arthur, this would be Merlin, right? Or if we're looking at the Witcher series, these are the mages that actually have a ton of more power than the Emperor. So just because you don't have the title doesn't mean you don't have the power in a relationship and in general in partnerships. So existing partnerships, you have more power than you think. You're on an equal ground, and you oftentimes support and or enable this person to do what they're doing. So the question is, what are you enabling? Are you enabling the positive behaviors, or are you enabling some of the negative behaviors? And how can you recall some of that power if we look at this card again? So that's step one. If you need to, these two cards and this card can be a breakup, but it's a breakup or a separation or some time aside that can be reversed if need be. So this is leaving the door open. Justice and death are a necessary change. So it could be just a conversation with a partner. I need to try this. It could be a job. It could be going back to school. It could be time apart. But there's a sort of flexibility here because, again, there's something lacking in commitment that you're not sure if you want to do it. So you're putting one foot in and you're seeing how it feels. Is the water warm? Is it cold? Am I ready to kind of submerge myself? So what you're really asking for, many of you, is just the flexibility to change and the flexibility to try. I think any relationship should be able to stand up to that if it's worth its weight. And the Seven of Cups means that I think they'll be willing to look at it from your perspective. So that's the important thing, is to just talk about what you want to do and see that that's possible. Okay. And remind them you can always go back to what was. But if something doesn't change, then it's going to stagnate. Okay. So you need this to grow. And if you don't grow, then the relationship suffers overall. Okay. So that's the main message there for existing relationships. I really like that we have the Wheel of Fortune here in the center, saying that things can definitely kind of progress in a positive direction. But change is the key thing that has to happen in existing relationships. And for many of you, you have to ask for what you need. Okay. If you do that, things will, again, kind of go into a great place. All right. Moving along to the next piece here, which is going to be those of you that are looking for love. So we just looked at those of you that are in a key relationship or looking for a relationship. This can also be business, by the way. So when I'm looking at relationships, I kind of take it away from love. I think we could just use relationships, because for those of you not in love, you could just think of the person that you think of the most or care about the most. So all of what I just said will work even in a business negotiation. All right. So for those of you that are looking for a key relationship, whether it's love or a partnership or a friendship, here's the most important card here, is the Justice one. How do you feel about you? Are you feeling good about things? Are you feeling a little less equal than them? Because look at Justice. She's right between two power cards, one that indicates inner power, one that indicates tidal power. And then all you have to do is sort of speak up, right? So I think that for many of you, if you can just believe, then you're going to call in what you're looking for, okay? Let me see here real quick here. So for many of you that are looking for love this month, one of the things that could surprise you is that out of nowhere, out of a sort of stagnation period, comes an abundant growth. We actually have a nice earth sign coming through all of this. So I want you to imagine that the old system, the old sort of cycle is completely done, and that you could say to yourself, I'm ready for today to be the day. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for growth. I'm ready. Stating that intention in and of itself is going to be the single most powerful thing that you can call in. There could also be someone in your midst that already is kind of like there and ready. So an old connection from the past could be coming back and saying, let's give this a go again. Let's see what's possible. And then finally, if we're looking for those of you that are single, happy, and maybe not so much interested in a relationship right now, it really is mostly about personal growth as we look at hopes, fears, and opportunities, right? So I think that prioritizing self right now is perfect because there's a lot of dreaming and doing that you can do. I still think friendships can really grow, and that's going to happen no matter what. But this is a great month to focus on personal development. Across all of them, we can't forget that the outcome card was Seven of Cups, and it was Seven of Cups reversed. So you can do anything that you put your mind to. You just have to decide. And we have a couple of decision-making cards here. So the sooner you decide, the sooner you receive. And you're already more worthy of whatever it is you're looking for than you may realize. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at your final card here. We have Thor, and we have action, and the card is reversed. And this is your destiny card. And so Thor, greatest son of Odin, right, is basically saying, let's move on. Let's make this happen. One really cool thing, if we just kind of geek out and look at the Marvel sort of, or yeah, is it Marvel? I sometimes forget. Yeah, I think it's Marvel. But basically, he lost his hammer in one of the most recent movies. And what happened was he realized he always had the power within to kind of call in, lightning and thunder and all of that. So his dad had to remind him, yeah, I just gave you that so that you could you could focus. So what did his hammer do? Basically, it gave him something to focus his power on, and he believed in himself. It actually was training wheels. And when he didn't need the hammer, he became the conduit. Again, to use an even more recent one, if we go to The Witcher, it's where I can't remember her name right now, but Yennefer, where she's trying to catch lightning in a bottle while we're talking about lightning. And she, instead of doing that, she absorbs it, and then she can actually channel it. So you don't need to have something external to show your power. So for some of you, this could be a certificate, this could be letters after your name, or recognition, or a gold star. That's just something that makes you feel like you deserve it. But if you already believe it, then you already have the power within. And if you lost something, a title or something like that, you're no less competent now than you were a minute before. And just because you got a new title doesn't make you, more competent than you were a moment before that. It's basically, it's within your head and your heart. So Thor is coming through today to remind us that we don't need the hammer. We don't need the training wheels. We don't need the crutch. And that is the big idea for today. That is what Seeing Beyond is really about. You don't need whatever you think you need, for validation, because it's already there. It's already within. All you need to do is take action on that inner sort of thing, that inner knowing, that inner sort of trusting. So act upon your dream, act upon what you know you can be, and then suddenly things start to really move into a positive trajectory. So that's the big idea. I'm going to pull a final card here and see if there's any sort of message here. Not a final card. I'm going to pull just one last card from Spirit, and then we're going to move into meditation portion. So just looking at Spirit really quickly here. Is there anything else to answer the question, what's beyond what's in front of you? So to help you make this happen, what you have to decide is what I'm focusing on worth it? Is the trade-off worth it? This is a balancing card, work-life balance. So for some of you, you've put so much into creating all of this stuff and you just want to keep juggling, but you can only juggle so much. And this is a moment where in the Two of Pentacles, if she lets go of one thing, she has an ace. That ace can grow really quickly. When you're trying to spread all the resources between two things, let's imagine that you have a finite amount of water and you have two really hungry plants. you could either starve both of them and neither will grow, or you could make a choice and say, all right, if this is my garden and I need something and this is going to create more, then I'm going to just really prioritize this, and I'll give if there's any slim pickings at the end, I'll give it to that. You could see something grow really fast rather than have two things sort of shriveled there. You kind of have to decide. There's a tough choice here. With this, we could also just see them as seeds, so it's not such a dismal kind of outlook there. I'm going to plant one and put all my energy into this. Once that's grown and I have additional energy, then I'll plant the other one. I like that vision better. So take the opportunity, take the seed, take the focus. Use one the most that you can put the most energy into and put the most focus into that. And then realize, as Thor taught us today, you don't need the external thing, the validation. You can do it. So choose one thing. Clarity, focus. Diana was telling us that too. Focus, focus, focus. Again, with this card here, make that choice. Trust yourself. Even if you're out on your own, even if you're trying something new, you've got this, okay? So there you go. And for everyone that keeps asking about the decks, you can go to my website for more information. I don't have time to put through every deck, and I actually identified it earlier. It was the Afro Goddess deck. So you can go to the website, click on that, and you can find her Oracle deck there. So there we go. All right, let's go ahead now, and we're going to move on to the next portion. Again, just to kind of remind you how I do this, we're going to do a meditation, sound bath, and final card. Before we get into that, what I'd love for you to do is to write down your final question. This is your chance to ask me something. So during this whole reading, I usually don't have a chance to kind of go back and forth because it can distract me. So this is your chance to meditate on something collectively, and then we will, I'll answer that for you. In the meantime, just a reminder, if you want to get more information about my schedules or get reminders, please join me on social media. And if you would like to show some support on this channel, it's free to like and subscribe if you've not done that. And if you'd like to give back, I noticed we had some great new members and great contributions today. I will say thank you at the end. So please do that, and I'll give you a couple of shout outs at the very end. And if you do need the information that some of you are asking for, you can go to the pin linked up above, which is my website. Not all of the Oracle decks are there because I would have to kind of like list another 50 or 60. But with the case of the Afro Goddess, you can go to her website and she has it listed there. Okay. And that is that. So let's get into our final portion, which is going to be the meditation and the sound bath. Again, stick around. Meditation just lasts a couple minutes, and then we'll get into answering your final question. I'm going to give you a chance to vote on whatever instrument you'd like me to play. So give me 1 second to do that, and then we'll get into this. So all in all, I really feel positive about what we see here with this. I think the Thor card really brought it all together, which is you don't need the validation. And that's a really sort of powerful message for all of us to know. You've already got what it takes. So which instrument? I have a singing bowl and a pyramid, crystal pyramid. So take your time, vote when you get a chance. Don't worry if you can't see it. There'll be enough people voting to kind of give me what I need for that, and then we'll get into this. Okay, so let's go ahead now and focus on the meditation. As I'm looking at everything today, I really do like the sort of idea of coming into your own, being able to see through the clouds or see through the chaos and create the star-like energy. So let's focus on becoming that star, and then when I'm done, I will play the instrument that you vote on. So 2 minutes, then the final card, and let's get started. All right, close your eyes, please. Take a nice deep breath, sit up tall. If you'd like to stretch, you can stretch for a moment, letting go of any tension that you might have been holding on to. We're going to do something powerful here with releasing stuff from within. So let's imagine that you might be holding on to energy in your body. There could be stuff that other people have kind of put on your back or you've absorbed. As we breathe, you're going to push this stuff out, and you may even imagine that it's going to look like a cloud or a bunch of dust. You can also imagine that if there's a lot of things in your life, just bring them into this energy right now, into your energy, and let's make sense of your chaos. Let's make sense of the nebula of energy around you. Breathe in. Really push the energy out. I'm not going to do that each time because the mic's in front of me. So just really breathe in, really breathe out. Repeat that a few times until you feel the sense of a little bit of lightheadedness, a little bit of relief, then relax, close your eyes, and imagine that you are sitting at the center of your own galactic star nebula. that you see all of these clouds, all of this dust particle, all this sort of stuff around you. And you are kind of like sitting cross-legged like a yogi, feeling this sense of calm, of empowerment, of possibility. As you're doing this, I want you to trust that you can see your way through. It's kind of like if you've ever had to travel in a foggy night or something like that, and you're worried, can I do this? Will I do this? You can do this. What I want you to do is to close your eyes and imagine what the path looks like. Imagine if you're for some reason I see like this beautiful golden city. Imagine that you're gonna create, or like an emerald city, whatever you wanna see. See whatever it is that you're creating in your mind's eye, and imagine that there's a path to that golden city where there's opportunity, where there's abundance, where there's love. Imagine that you're gonna go meet the new you there. So as you're walking down this path, you're not alone. You have support with your guides. You might have Archangel Azrael there, since it came through in the cards here. So imagine that you have someone ushering you down this path. You're not alone. And as you're doing this, all the dust, all the particles around you, they start to take shape. Imagine that it's creating something. It could be planets, it could be a surrounding, it could be like a pen and ink that's being drawn in with colors. So imagine that you're creating your own painting, your own reality. And you're starting to shine brighter and brighter with each step that you take. From the heart and the soul, you see these beautiful rays of light that's revealing what's in front of you, what's available, what's possible. And there's this sense of awe, wonder, and excitement because there was more than you thought you could ever accomplish here, okay? As you see the future you, I want you to take a moment and look deep into the eyes of the future you, whether that person looks identical or different. And I want you to go into the soul and see what the message is. How do you become what you see? And as I play the bowl, see what your guides give you. And if you just want to chill out and listen to the sound of the bowl, that's enough, okay? So relax for a moment. And then we'll take a look at the final card. And now, as you've been looking into the eyes of the future you, realize now that you've taken a journey into the soul and you're seeing now from the inside out, you've become that future you. Around you, there no longer is chaos, there is order, there is opportunity. There is a clear and definite path that you can take. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you know what's available to you. Using the powerful energy of the combination of Emperor and Mage here, or Magician, I want you to continue to think in the way of I am, I can, I will, and start to put something with all of those words so that you can decide what you are, what you want, etc. All right, let's go ahead now and look at your final card. I just want you to read, focus, or concentrate on whatever your final question was for me, and we're going to take a look and see what Spirit has to say about it. Wheel of Fortune, twice in a reading. Wheel of Fortune in reverse, so it shows me a change of fortune coming through for you. This is a really cool card, and it's in the Light Seers deck. If we look very close, we see that in order to get there, there's those two dice around her neck, right? And she's also sitting on top of chips that you would see in a casino. So she had to take a leap of faith, and she had to take a little bit of a calculated risk in order for the wheel to start spinning. So that's part of it. The Fool is definitely an energy that you can also connect with financial cards like the Wheel of Fortune, because you have to kind of take that chance, take that leap. So it could be a chance on education, it could be a chance on a relationship, it could be a chance on something that just matters to you. Whatever it is, prioritize that, and I think you'll see some good things come of it. Let me see if there's anything else with this card. So with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, as a yes/no, one thing that I want you to make sure is that the money, the opportunity, the trade-off feels good to you. If there's anything going on where you feel like this isn't what I signed up for, this is too much, this is too far, etc., then speak up, because you actually should kind of like balance that out. If there's something about this also where you just feel a sense of like it's the timing is wrong, or the speed with which it's happening is wrong, then you also want to kind of take control of the wheel and spin it the way that you need it to. Okay, overall pretty good. I see positive changes. I see a change in fortune. So if you're having bad luck right now, this is actually a card that indicates better times, better luck ahead. All right, so beautiful energy today, beautiful messages today. I've been really kind of like heartened by how positive the new year energy has been overall, because it really feels like this is a breakthrough opportunity in year for many of us if we've been feeling any stagnation. There's still a lot to deal with. We're still in a pandemic, but I feel like we're all getting stronger and we're all kind of moving in the right direction. So just a couple quick notes. If you liked what you saw here, please remember to subscribe. Actually, to like and subscribe. Join me on social media as well. All of these things help with growth. Social media, you can get a reminder of when I'm going to do things. I always post it the morning of or the morning before. And of course, if you hit the notifications, I sometimes do impromptu readings here. And this is a great way to be able to know if I just go live randomly. And I'm going to say thanks here in just a second to all the super stickers and super chats. And again, all that other information you need is on my website. So let me take a moment here to say thanks to everybody that gave back. I'm going to start first by saying thank you to all my longtime subscribers here, whether you're a member or not. I'm just happy to have you. If you're brand new, welcome. Good to have you as well. And to all my members and Patreon supporters as well. You make it all possible. You've helped me upgrade the gear, and I'm trying to put it back into a professional sort of experience here. So thank you so much. All right, give me a moment here just to pull the right window open, and I'm going to give some thanks. All right, so we're going to start with new members that have joined. So anybody that joined today or that I recognize joining within the last day, I'm going to say hearty welcome to. So Stacia, thank you so much for rejoining after 8 months. Welcome back. Jen S., brand new member, welcome. 62 and Sunny, welcome. I know you're a longtime viewer, so it's great to have you as a member. Van and Sheila, thank you for joining as well. Let's see, I think that was from yesterday, so I think we're okay at this point, but I'll go through a couple just to make sure that I didn't miss it. Suzanne, Jacqueline, Shenui, Yuri, Francis, let's see, and I think that's everybody. So thank you so much to all of these lovely new members, and those of you that have rejoined. It's good to have you here. All right, and then for those of you that gave back with a super sticker or super chat, I just want to acknowledge your contribution as well. So give me a moment to work through this, and we'll see what's coming through. All right, thank you to Kit N for kicking things off today, Wayne as well, Bluebell 2, M Hart, Cathis L, thank you, April Rain, Farine, Cathis again, thank you so much. Marianne Palermo, Keep It G, DD Shaughnessy, it looks like, or a bunch of D's, but yeah, Shaughnessy basically, thank you. Spirit 11111, Arizu, thank you so much. Gimlet Rose, Marjorie Gonzalez, Cathis again, thank you for a repeated contribution, I appreciate it. Monica Barroso, Heidi Jo Brown, thank you. Misha Crane, Charlene Fox, thank you, Charlene, for that extra bit. I appreciate it. Kathy Aram, Christina Ambriz, you're following D2. Marilyn Bernier, thank you, or Bernier. Sarah LaRock, thank you. Shioko, Julianne, Wendy Wright, Jane Baden, the Mad Monica 11, thank you all so much. Conscious Candace, thank you. I appreciate that. Beverly Kendall, AB, Kathy Coombe, Jeannie Hart, Brynhilder, Thor's daughter, and Twinkle. Much love and light to all of you. I think I got all the names. Let me see if I missed anything. A couple here, Cindy, Cindy Toshik, Crystal McKnight, and I think that's it. Thank you so much for a magical sort of reading today, and I really love that final message that we got with Thor about realizing your own intrinsic power, not second guessing what's possible, taking the training wheels off. I think this is the really big thing that we can kind of take away today, is that you are ready. It is possible. You just have to kind of focus and make the choice and choose to kind of step into that, okay? One last thing, again, my schedule's on my website, so take a look. Because of my new setup, I just kind of do one at a time. So shortly after today's reading, I will post the link for the next one that we'll be looking at for the week ahead. So let's see, I think it's going to be Cancer, Leo, and Virgo this upcoming week, but check my website to be sure. That'll probably be Monday, Thursday, and Friday. All right. Big thanks to Maria and to Dakota for their help with moderating today. Have a great week ahead and a great month ahead too, reminding you that all of the January readings are actually already up on YouTube, and I'm starting the February ones. We're about one fourth of the way through, so we'll be done by the end of the month. Join me every Sunday if you liked what you saw here, and again, tune into the occasional impromptus that I will do here and occasionally on Instagram. Much love and light to everyone. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves and have a great week and a great weekend. Until I see you next, much love and light, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.